Kash Patel sucks. Because we should still be talking about watching two of the best hockey games I have ever watched. We should be talking about Megan Keller's dirty dangles in overtime to defeat Canada for the gold, or Connor Hellebuck, his effort in that 5-on-3 power play. Jack Hughes, his overtime winner in Milan to snag the first men's hockey gold since the 1980 Miracle on Ice. And instead, we're talking about the head of the FBI and his $75,000 charter flight to Milan to get hammered in the locker room after the game. And so while Kash Patel was busy chugging beers and slurring through calls with Trump in the men's locker room after Team USA beat Canada for the gold, a Mar-a-Lago breach had just happened. Nancy Guthrie still missing. And cartel leader in Mexico, El Mencho, had just been killed. And in the Epstein files, no one in the U.S. has been charged. It sounds like a pretty big week for the FBI, so good thing the director of the FBI was in Europe watching some puck. And according to reports from several outlets like NBC, MS Now, all of those, this charter flight to Milan ran $75,000 round trip. Your money. Patel, of course, brought along his singer girlfriend, Alexis Wilkins, and for reference, that $75,000, that's almost the starting salary for an FBI agent. That's what they earn in a year. But hey, Kash Patel, he needed to celebrate in the locker room with a team that he didn't even play for. I mean, look at this video. It is gross. And if Patel's actions aren't bad enough, the men's team got a phone call from Donald Trump in the locker room. They got invited to the State of the Union. They got a White House visit offer. Meanwhile, the women's team, who also won gold, also in thrilling overtime fashion against Canada, they got a different kind of message. Trump, on speaker, said this.
Boys are going to the State of the Union.
The nice thing about being president is I can tell you, you don't have to worry about the weather or landing. So we don't care if it's snowing, if it's the worst blizzard. We sail it through that sugar just like you did at the ice.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, we'll do it at the White House anytime. What would really be cool, and we'll do the White House the next day, we'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that. I do believe I probably would be impeached, okay?
Trump implying that he would only invite the gold medal winning women's team so that he didn't lose political points, as if the women's team is somehow inferior politically to the men's team. And it's sickening to see that the members of the men's team, they were laughing. Of course, thankfully, the women's team declined the visit to the White House, citing previously scheduled academic and professional commitments. Anything at the White House is more academic and professional, trust me. Of course, Patel's coziness with the men's hockey team, it's not a surprise. We know that from a VoteHub study that NHL players, they're 44% Republican and just like 5 or 6% Democrat. They are the most right-leaning professional sport in America. So when Patel flew over there to the Olympics to party with Team USA, he wasn't exactly behind enemy lines or anything like that. He was in his element, partying and spending taxpayer dollars. His element, it seems, is not working in Washington, D.C., doing the job he was confirmed to do. It's partying and flying all over the world. And before you red hats out there jump in and say, well, it was just one trip to celebrate our country, it was patriotic. It's not. Look, last year, Senate Democrats requested an inspector general probe into Patel's repeated use of the FBI jet for travel that didn't appear to be tied to anything FBI related. Reports showed that he had used the government plane for multiple discretionary trips, including to go to UFC fights, NHL games, and a fly to Nashville to pick up his girlfriend, the same girlfriend that Patel had a SWAT team assigned to provide security for her. Patel has used these private jets on numerous occasions to attend everything other than things to deal with national security. And in Congress, you have representatives like Sidney Kamalager Dove and Jamie Raskin demanding that Patel reimbursed taxpayers for these flights that he did on personal grounds. These had nothing to do with his job, and he does it all the time. And here is where the irony gets thick. This is funny if it weren't taxpayer dollars. On January 8th of this year, Patel posted on X, quote, "This FBI is cutting waste, streamlining operations, and saving the taxpayers millions." Following Donald Trump's executive order on implementing the president's Department of Government Efficiency Cost Efficiency Initiative, in 2025, we conducted an exhaustive review of our contract spending. That resulted in a savings of over $316 million and $1.2 billion in overall contract ceiling savings, a huge number for the FBI. And he goes on to talk about real estate and shuttering buildings they don't need and saving millions of dollars on rent payments. And this tweet, coming a month before Kash Patel flies halfway around the world to get drunk and chug beers in a locker room. It is absolutely absurd. And it's a striking example of somebody who says they're cutting waste, saving millions, no more bloated projects. And yet his antics have chewed through a noticeable chunk of the savings that he's been bragging about. Look, you don't get to pound your chest about cost efficiency while lighting taxpayer money on fire at 30,000 feet. And then you get to act like a drunken frat boy in a locker room in Milan. Which, by the way, what is it with all of the alleged drunken frat mentality that seems to permeate the Trump regime and his acolytes? Allegedly, you've got Hegseth, Patel, Jeanine Pirro, Nancy Mace, Kavanaugh. They all seem to treat Washington, D.C. like Adams College from Revenge of the Nerds. And none of it has anything to do with governance. It has nothing to do with the job that Kash Patel said he was hired to do. I mean, look, at his confirmation hearing, he said it himself, and I'm paraphrasing to make this algorithm friendly here. In 7 minutes, 2 overdoses from fentanyl. 1, taken out by a firearm. 3 were assaulted. That was his frame for the urgency of the FBI's mission. And instead of doing that mission, he's flying over to the Olympics and getting drunk. And reporting is citing at least 8 former FBI and DOJ officials that have compared the Kash Patel situation to what happened in 1993 when William Sessions became the only FBI director ever fired over ethics violations. Pretty important company to keep there. And look, if you want to keep following where the FBI director and the rest of the Trump regime is spending your hard-earned money, be sure to subscribe to the Ring of Fire. We've got news stories daily. And look, this administration keeps telling you that it's at war with cartels, with fentanyl, with crime, with the border, with DEI. And then the people at the top treat that war the way a CEO treats some BS company policy, that it applies to everyone except for them. The FBI director doesn't patrol the border. He's going to Milan. Meanwhile, the Secretary of Homeland Security flying around in a multi-million-dollar love shack in the sky while she makes up stories about cannibals. And I'm doing a video on that later on. But the point is that people asking you to sacrifice aren't sacrificing anything.
Doesn't it seem like our feeds are getting filled with more and more BS right-wing MAGA content? It's no secret that all these top tech bros are in love with the current regime. So it's no surprise that independent left-leaning media is being squashed by the algorithm. If you like our content and content like us, it doesn't take long to click that thumbs up, share, comment, or subscribe. So please help us keep the truth alive.